Thank goodness for technology, huh?
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, everybody. Mr. Kawasaki, Jasmine, how you doing? So let's give it a couple minutes. Let's get some people to hop on here. I just sent out a text message, so hopefully everybody got it. It is a holiday weekend, so we'll see who's committed. We will see right now.
All right, sorry, I couldn't unmute my mic, but I'm here. I'm good.
Gotcha. You're on there twice. Nice.
Oh, wow.
So Karina's at the doctor's, so she probably shouldn't have her camera on at the doctor's, but how about everybody else? How you guys doing? Bam. Good morning. Ooh, nice view. Chris, how you doing, buddy? I seen you sent me a text there. Are you able to have your camera on as well, Chris? You don't have a camera or a mic on that PC. I get you. I got one of those too. My desktop doesn't have a camera or a mic on it, so I'm actually using two computers. You know, got the presentation on one and laptop on the other. So sooner or later, I'll learn how to use my my GoPro that I just bought. So hook it to my computer, then I'll be one and done here. All right, let's allow a couple more people to hop on real quick. AJ, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Sorry, I'm trying to start the video. I am. Normally I'm on Remo's computer, but I don't know how to get it set up, so I know he's here yet to do it.
Gotcha. Are you on your cell phone?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you have it looking like this. Ah, there we go. Oh, there's Kathy. She just got here. Talk about having banker hours,
Por
huh?
favor. What was that?
Kathy, talk about having banker hours. Wow, 10 o'clock. Must be nice. Leticia, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing great. Thank you.
Well, you sound chipper this morning. Your weekend, getting pumped up for the weekend?
I just finished my workout. I'm about to eat. I feel great. I feel energetic. I'm ready to roll. I'm ready to do this.
Awesome. Nice to hear. Nice to hear. Me too. I'm ready to do this as well.
Nice.
I got to get pumped up for this too. All right, let's see if I can get my technically challenged here. Excellent. All right, Remo. Okay, cool. It's 10:03. Should we give it a minute or two? See if we get a couple stragglers hopping on here. Who has some cool plans for this weekend? Everyone's just grabbing a 12-pack, hanging out at the pool, eating some ribs.
What are your plans?
I'm going to be working on my house.
Okay.
So, I mean, this is my 4th of July is my favorite holiday. Usually we spend a ridiculous amount of money on illegal fireworks and, you know, we attempt not to burn the neighborhood down.
Yeah.
This year, on the other hand, I moved to Placentia, which doesn't allow fireworks,
Okay.
which kind of stinks. And then usually at the park in Placentia, I think it's actually in Yorba Linda, we'd ride our bikes there and they'd have a huge fireworks show, which is pretty awesome. But they're not doing it this year. So, you know, we might just have to buy some, you know, spend like, I don't know, $6-7 grand on some Safe and Sanes. That's what it costs per box now, I think. And,
Yeah.
and it's a little crazy pricing, but
Yeah.
you know, spend a couple bucks, buy some Safe and Sanes, and you know, I'm sure the police won't give me a hard time if I'm Had some fireworks on a ladder in my front yard for 3 little kids. So, but I'll be working on my house, hanging out at the pool, eating some barbecue. I'm not a big beer drinker, but you know, I'll probably have a couple beers, I guess.
Yeah, sounds nice.
It's the American thing to do. So AJ's got a wild party planned. He does something crazy every 4th of July. I forgot what it was.
So I was trying to mute. Definitely don't have anything crazy planned. I think I'm going to Remo's. So he's got a killer view of like just all of LA. So you'll be able, like just being able to see the fireworks from like each city is pretty
Okay.
cool. I'm excited for that.
That'd actually be pretty sweet. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll look
I
up.
saw a video of it last year, so I wanted to check it out. And a friend of mine is having like a music show earlier in the day. So trying to hopefully make it out to that.
There is no try. You've already determined you're not going if you're going to try. Just say.
Yeah, I've heard this before. It's yeah,
Just do it or don't do it. Pick one.
yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Well, we have I don't know if you've taken this class before, but it's deliver your value proposition. And, you know, the value that you portray to the people that you're working with is extremely important. So, you know, it all breaks down into the words that you use and how you perceive yourself and how other people perceive you. What buyers and sellers are looking for are super important too. So we'll start digging deep into some of that. I'm going to attempt to do it as quickly as possible. I know a lot of you guys want to, you know, take it off on Friday for the holiday weekend. So it's a lot of, this class usually has a lot of content. So we're going to be breaking out here and there into some breakout rooms. You'll probably be paired up with somebody and, you know, going over some of the values that we talk about here. So be prepared to do that. And if at all possible, you know, I know Chris doesn't have a camera on his computer. Karina's sitting in the doctor's office right now, but if you guys have cameras on your phones or your computers, you mind turning those on, especially when you're communicating with, you know, some of the other people in the class when we do breakout sessions. Obviously, if you can't, you can't, right? We totally get that. So let me share my screen. Let's get started. What do I want to do? Share screen. Yeah, there we go. Ooh, how's that? Okay, everybody sees my crazy desktop. It's my laptop. There's barely anything on here. My other thing, I got like 400 windows open. Here we go. You can all see that good? Perfect. You can all see and hear me, so we're doing pretty good so far.
Yes, we can.
Awesome. So let's start out today. I mean, it's a great Friday. We're rolling to the weekend. Why don't you tell me something maybe that you're grateful for so far in this learning journey as you've been going through Ignite? Something that, you know, every time we take a class, you're not going to get everything, but there's usually one thing that's going to resonate with you. They're like, ah, man, that's me. That's something I really need to learn. I'm so happy I took this class. I'm going to move forward being a better person, being a better leader, being a better realtor, from something that I learned so far in the first 5 sessions. Someone want to shoot something out that they're grateful for or something that they learned?
I'll go first in case my daughter walks into my office, but it's Karina. And for me, it's, you know, when I remember the first time I met you, you told me that my inner circle is going to be, you know, the best approach that I could take. And I was so taken by that because I've had that mentality that they know that I don't know about real estate because I'm new to it. So by taking these classes and learning from everybody else, it's, you know, I'm trying to realize that, you know, that's probably going to be my best opportunities that I have starting the business.
Awesome. Okay. Awesome. And through today's class, you're going to learn a couple of values about yourself that are really going to, you know, spark the conversation that you have with the people and actually build some confidence. So who else? Who's something that they're grateful for, something they're excited about, something that they possibly learned throughout this class so far?
That's pretty similar for me. Being nervous about like approaching or reaching out to the people that are kind of already in my phone. The other thing for me is I'm not an agent yet. And so that's something that should be done in the next month. This is really just like setting me up so that I can, like, I already have a structure instead of like being an agent and kind of like, I'm going to make mistakes, right? But I'm not, there's already like, I'm learning a lot of mistakes, you know, to avoid before I even make them, which is really helpful. It makes me excited and a little bit, just a little more confident in this.
Okay, awesome. So what challenges have you encountered so far that we could probably work out? Is there a specific challenge one of you might have had that, you know, probably all of you had that maybe we could talk about real quick and get over that hump?
One challenge that I'm kind of struggling with is being more persistent and keeping the conversation going when I do cold calls. So if they say like, I already have an agent that I'm working with, or I'm just looking, I'm browsing, I'm not interested in buying right now. I've kind of just been taking that as like, okay, well, if you need anything, let me know, when really I should be digging deeper and trying to pivot the conversation. So that's kind of one thing that I've been struggling with.
Okay, and one of the things we can do is put some people on some drip campaigns, right? And really stay on top of them. You know, something we've created in the past, you know, we've had like the 10 days of pain where it's, you know, you got a lead, somebody's possibly interested in something. We want to stay on top of them every single day, send them something, you know, 10 times, whether it be just a text message or some more information or downloading your app or looking at some properties. So, you know, it's really easy for someone to say, hey, I'm just looking. Well, they obviously are looking for a reason. They want something, right? So it just might not be right now, but yeah, staying consistent to the game and pushing through, and then learning to ask different questions, maybe to kind of get to the point a little bit. Cool. Anything else? Anybody else got a challenge that they faced so far? Something exciting that's come up, you know, from something that they've learned?
I want to go next. Like,
Awesome.
I want to go. Okay. So one of the challenges, of course, I work full time, right? So I'm doing real estate part-time. So one of the challenges I did encounter is trying to like know all the programs. There's so many programs to learn. There's so many, like, you know, you have the CMA, you got the, you know, you have all these programs, right? So then, so that's my great challenge, to find out, okay, how to maneuver, how to make sure I know all the programs very well. And at the same time, I've been actually looking at the videos, right? Videos, making sure I understand how the programs work, understand how to maneuver around the programs. And then with my mentor, of course, I actually that's a bonus, because, you know, he teaches me things that I don't really know or I don't really understand. Like right now, I just finished a class at 9 o'clock of a CRLMS, how to do a CMA, right? So I try to like kind of like incorporate those during my lunchtime, during my breaks, you know, whatever I can. So it's kind of like challenge. It's hard, long hours, but it's manageable, right? Depending on what my goal is, and that's my goal. But that's a challenge to me. One of the things I'm excited about is that so I finally started promoting myself out there. Like, I created a professional IG page, right? And I started actually inviting some friends. So then I get a message from one of actually my friend's daughters saying, hey, by the way, my grandma wants to go ahead and sell and buy a home. So she wants to sell her house and buy a home at the same time. So to me, I have an appointment with her next week on Wednesday. I actually did reach out to Maxine, who's going to prepare a nice new sales presentation for me, right?
Nice,
and so I'm actually going to, that way I can go ahead and present her, let her know what her options are. I did actually find the pros and the cons, working with Rick, my mentor, about the pros or the cons. But what if she's not eligible based on her age, because she's elderly, you know? And I just found out that Keller Williams has these programs that they can actually purchase the customer's home. I didn't know that, right? So for a fee, of course. So I want to make sure I know all the ins and outs of that, and study that material. So when I actually do go to her house next week, at least I know what I'm talking about, right? And then those questions that I may not know what I'm talking about, I can always kind of like, you know, say, you know, let me consult with my actually principal person to find out how I can actually address these questions that you have. So that's actually, I'm excited about that part. So yeah, that's
You
it.
sound excited.
I'm excited. That's 2 transactions in one, so that's kind of nice. And so it's so funny, because one of the questions they asked me, how long have you done this? I'm like, you know what, it's so funny that everyone's going to ask me that question. I say, well, you know, I'm actually very, I work with different programs, housing programs, so I'm very knowledgeable of how the housing programs work and things like that. So I do educate myself on what's out there, what's the programs out there, the newsletters that's out there, because that way I can relate to them in some way. So
Gotcha. How many years have you been in the customer service industry?
since I was, I started working very young. So I always worked in the customer service industry since I was probably 15 years old, right? So people is my thing. Like I can adapt to people very quickly. So yeah, and I'm a talker. So
So I've been serving customers for 20 years. So
Yeah.
how long have you been doing this? Oh, that's a great question. I actually have been serving customers for 20 years.
there you go. Yeah. I thought you were asking me a question. Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what I would have said if I was only in my first year in. You know,
Okay.
I've been in the customer service industry since I was like, again, 15, right? So for me, that's, I don't know, 30 years.
Mhm.
Depending on how old I am, I think. I have to ask my wife how old I am. So, you know, maybe it's 20 years, maybe it's 30 years, right? So it's like, I've been in the customer service. I've been serving customers like yourself for 30 years. Necessarily didn't have to be real estate. I mean, unless they're very specific, how many years have you had a real estate license? Like, right. So, but yeah, that's good. So great. So you're learning a lot of new things, things that you didn't know. You know, you're talking to your customers, looking to solve a problem because they do have a problem. That's why they're talking to you.
Right.
You know, what are the problems of getting their home sold or the problems of actually purchasing, getting financing? Your job is to uncover the problems, and then you don't have to give them a solution immediately. It's like, you know, let me go back. Let me find you the right solutions to get you what you really want. And then come back to your team, which is your title rep, your mentor, the office, you know, other people in this class. I mean, right? And collectively, we find the answers together. So awesome. Sounds like we're off to a great start. So today we're going to focus on you and the value that you bring to all of your customers, your community, your business. And we call that your value proposition. And in this session, you'll be able to talk about that. So we're going to give you an opportunity to define what that is for you. And so I don't know if you guys have the printout. Awesome. Okay, because there's quite a few things we're going to start filling out in that printout. So we'll kind of go through that and get rocking and rolling. It should be super fun here. Awesome. So we go through this every single time, right? What successful agents do every day. And they lead generate, right? Our 5 jobs is scripts and role play, lead generate. We lead follow up. We go on appointments. We negotiate contracts. And those are our top 5 jobs. So here to grow your business, you know, we got to do listing presentations with whether it's buyers or sellers. And then we need to preview a lot of real estate. You know, we're in the real estate game. So definitely previewing real estate, something that we must be doing. And then there's obviously running your business, right? Marketing to sellers, showing buyers houses, again, negotiating contracts, doing your transaction management, working with a lot of vendors, and then working on your business, setting goals, seeing where your business is going to go, managing your money, you know, attending training and always learning. So we're going to definitely be working in your business and on your business. So the goal of our time here today is to model what successful agents do every day. So they understand their value proposition and they're able to use that in their language when they're talking with people. And that's what we want to go through. There we go. Perfect. Working on 2 separate computers here, so it gets a little tricky. So our roadmap for the day, we're going to define your value. Then we're going to talk about the 3 aspects of service. Then we're going to talk a little bit about your value and then how you deliver that value. And then we're going to recap and do some breakouts and have some fun. Talk a little bit about tech. Should be pretty fun. So let's get it rocking and rolling here. Perfect. So if you got your workout page here, page 3, we're going to talk a little bit about your value. So a value proposition is a simple and precise description of the benefits that customers will get from working directly with you. So you should be able to clearly convey all the things that you do to earn the money that you make, right? So, and then your value proposition is also a covenant between you and the customer. So for example, we're going to get into a lot of examples, but for my team, you know, our value or our tagline is above and beyond. Like we go above and beyond whatever their expectations are. So we're going to find out what their expectations are and we're going to crush it. So if they expect us to do one thing, we're going to do 3 things. They expect us to, you know, communicate with them at a high level, we'll communicate at a ridiculous level, right? We want to make sure that we overcome every expectation that they have. So we will go above and beyond. It's our tagline. It's literally on everything that I own. So it's on my folders. I mean, it's literally right on the front. So everything that we do, we have our value proposition on there. We want people to know that when they hire us, we will work harder than anybody else. We will, obviously exceed their expectations. So number one is we're going to describe, and we're going to craft a simple and precise description of the benefits for your customers. Then we're going to convey that and learn how to use that in specific language to use. And number three, we're going to make your value proposition between you and the customer. So it's quite a bit of work, and you're going to be doing quite a bit of thinking, and you don't have to all master it today. What we want to do is start brainstorming around you thinking about what you want your customers to think or what you want them to feel when they're working directly with you. So the 3 aspects of service, which I think is on the next page. Boom, here we go. So when Gary Keller was researching the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, he noted that every top producing agent spoke that they had a deep, almost inherent sense of service. You cannot grow a real estate business until you prioritize what your client's experience is, unless you put your client's experience above all else. That's something we do as a company. We're always going to be talking about your customer, right? Not like, hey, Keller Williams gives you this, this, and this. It's like, yeah, we have a lot of things to offer you. The biggest thing is like, what do your customers feel? Like, how are we servicing your customer? Your customers are always going to come first. So a stellar experience is how you earn not only your commission, but you earn the relationship, you earn the reviews, and you also earn the referrals. And that's huge, huge, huge in our business. So we identified 3 different aspects that underline the purpose of real estate, a compelling value proposition, and then third is the fiduciary. So on your book on page 3, here's going off here. On my book on page 3, we're going to go through these 3 real quick. So the purpose is to know the underlying purpose of real estate in the profession. So number 2 is to have a clear and communicate your value proposition, how to actually deliver that. And we're going to do some examples later on here. And then really understanding what a fiduciary is and how that comes to play. So what is the underlying purpose of real estate? Is it different for buyers and sellers? Say yes. Awesome.
No. It is?
That's actually an embedded command. You could actually tell your customers to say yes. Do you see the value in the presentation that I'm giving? Say yes. And they'll be like, yes. Okay, awesome. So for buyers, it's usually finding them the right home, probably negotiating a best price, maybe getting them in a time frame that works really good for them. Most likely with the least amount of problems. Buying a home and selling a home, there's a lot to it. So making it the least amount of problems, stress-free would be ideal. And then what happens to your clients when they're buying or selling their experience if they don't understand what the underlying purpose of real estate is, if they don't understand the process? Do you see how that would be a problem? Have you ever talked to somebody and said, oh, I had a real estate agent and I had a bad experience, or they didn't tell me this, or they didn't show me this, or I don't know what the process looked like. So I was kind of confused through the whole thing, and everything that popped up was surprising to me. And we definitely don't want that to happen. So showing them and getting them to understand the purpose of real estate. So it's significant that one phrase is shared with buyers and sellers. It's usually the least amount of problems. So a lot of times you'll have, what sellers want and what buyers want. Typically they don't want problems. So understanding that as a realtor, what do you think some of the problems that you can anticipate that your clients would have that you've done to maybe avoid those problems up front? So go ahead and throw out a problem that you could anticipate a customer having, and having that conversation up front, how you could help avoid that.
Getting continually outbid on properties.
Gotcha. So one of the problems in today's market is obviously it's super competitive. We're going to be getting, most likely sometimes getting outbid. So if we know that that's going to be a problem, understanding that they're going to have to be putting a certain percentage or certain dollar amount above the asking price or what we perceive to be the market value of that property, are they comfortable with doing that? So if we know the problem, that's a problem, right? How do we front load that problem with a solution? So are they willing to do those things? So you know what the problem is. What would possibly be another problem? There's more problems out there.
Maybe them not understanding the process or understanding what they're signing.
Right? Not understanding the contracts or maybe the contingency removals. Like, what does that look like and what does that mean?
Mhm.
So that could be a problem, right? Putting their deposit at risk. So some of these things could be problems. Request for repairs could be a problem. Like right now in today's market, we're not getting a lot of credits for requests for repairs from sellers, because they got 500 buyers on every piece of property. So maybe explaining some of these things up front to them, understanding what a home inspection report is and what's maybe serious and what's not so serious, understanding the properties, and what's involved in a house. These are some of the problems that could come up. Maybe not qualifying for a loan. You're making sure that they keep their credit nice and clean. They don't go buy a new car in the middle of escrow or go buy a bunch of furniture on credit. Like, So these are some of the problems that could come up. So knowing these problems, and we can anticipate some of these things happening, we can actually avoid them by bringing them up front. I need to go do that. So value proposition. This distills the service. Whoops, wrong one. There you go. Value proposition. So what was I going to say? The service that you're offering them is in the value, right? So we're going to learn how to convey that to the customer. And we have a couple exercises that we're going to go through. So on page number 4, let's talk a little bit about value, right? So what words would you describe? What words would you use to describe yourself? So if you have your worksheet, I filled mine out already. What's some of the value words that you would use to describe yourself?
Patient.
Patient, awesome. What else? Should be an easy one. You're describing yourself.
Integrity.
Integrity, awesome. What else? So I'd like you to write these down. These are like whatever you don't have to say them all out loud, but what you think about yourself. Let's go ahead and write down the words that you would use to describe yourself.
I'm the best.
What was that answer?
I'm the best one out there.
You're the best. Okay. Being the best. That's a word. Okay. What else? All right. You're writing these down. What was that?
Diligent.
Diligent. Okay.
Trustworthy.
Trustworthy. There you go. Okay, now that you're talking about yourself, let's think about other people. Let's think about your friends, your family, maybe some of your coworkers. How would people personally describe you?
Outgoing.
Okay, outgoing. How else would they describe you?
Hardworking.
Hardworking, great. Keep it going.
Knowledgeable.
Hey, we're talking about yourself here. People usually love talking about themselves.
Knowledgeable.
Knowledgeable, amazing, loving, the best person on earth, right? How else would you describe? What was that?
Honest.
Honest. Okay, great. So write a bunch of those things down. What you think other people would think about you. Now let's think about some of your skills. What skills do you think you have right now that makes you great in real estate?
I have adaptability, so I'm able to work with different people and work in different circumstances.
Okay, adaptability. Great.
Yeah.
What other skills does somebody have that would make them great in real estate?
Tenacity.
Tenacity,
I'm a great problem solver.
problem solver. That's a big part of our job. We're like marriage counselors, family counselors, attorneys, we're everything. What else?
I am reliable.
Reliable. Okay, well, that makes you great in real estate. We can depend on you. Excellent. What do you think about knowing your product?
I
Like-
am resourceful, right?
Resourceful, yeah. You don't have all the answers, but you could find them. Excellent. So what experiences, now as we're writing these things down, those are what skills you have. We're talking about your skills that would make you great in real estate. Now let's talk about your experiences. Like, what experiences do you have in your life that make you great in real estate or that benefit you in real estate?
I bought a home last year, so I've been through the home buying process before.
Yep, you've been through it before. Excellent. That's a good one. What else?
And the extensive education that we go through even to get licensed.
Okay, you're educated. Yeah, that always makes it, that experience of getting that knowledge is good. What else? Lost my screen. I lost 2 screens. Oh man. I lost my cursor. I don't know if you see my window. It says no windows available. Oh, there we go. Ooh. Oh, there we go. Excellent. Okay. What else? How many of you guys have children? How many people know people with children? How many people were children? Okay, so you understand chaos. You understand things can get messy. So you're problem solvers. I mean, there's a lot of things that happen in your life that you could use in real estate. Working with customers. You know, I used to work at John. Well, I didn't, but like I used to work at Jamba Juice and people yelling at me all day. So you're used to people yelling at you. Awesome. That's actually a great experience that you've had. But you're most likely going to have some people yelling at you here too. Might just be other agents, could be some customers, right? So being able to deal with customers, customer service, a lot of things that you've dealt with in the past. You know, maybe overcoming objections. You know, some of that you guys are, well, most everybody's in some type of relationship, right? So relationships are huge. You understand relationships real well because you're in one or you've been through one or understand those things. So these are all things that are going to define you to help you through the real estate process or to actually bring value to your customers. And we just need to learn how to use those in words to portray the value or the customer service experience that we've had in the past to be able to show them that it's valuable to them now in the future. So I'd like to do is start working on constructing your own value proposition. So I don't know if my paperwork goes along with my slides here. So let me take a look. Okay, so talked about the value proposition. We want to talk real quickly about the difference between functionary and fiduciary. Do people know the difference between a functionary versus a fiduciary?
Would that be functionary will be more of your functions. What are your functions as a real estate? Fiduciary is more like what are your responsibility as far as you represent a customer, right? Like, no.
There, no, yeah, you're right. So let's go way back to middle school English class, and we're going to look at fiduciary. It's both an adjective and a noun. So as an adjective, it refers to something dealing with trust, especially relationships, right? And then you have a fiduciary duty to your clients to protect their best interests during what's most likely like the largest financial purchase purchase or obligation they have in their life. It's also a function of one who completes tasks for somebody on behalf of them. So it goes beyond your own interests. Being the fiduciary is like putting their needs in front of yours at all times. It's a lot different than just going through a transaction or checking off a box. So it's actually a really, really big deal. So it should be an honor that you're being able to act on their behalf. And when you portray it that way, it sounds really great. Like, I'm actually a fiduciary for you. Like, I uphold the most when I'm a fiduciary, right? So I'm always going to be fighting for you. You're always in my corner. Like, I don't care what commission is. I don't care what credits. I don't care about anything. I care about you getting that house. I care about getting you the most money for your property. Whatever your needs are, like, I'm there to support your needs 100%, and you're always going to come before I do. So what are some of the ways that you would serve as a fiduciary inside of a real estate transaction?
I'd say probably presenting all
I lost you there. Presenting all offers?
yes to the customer.
Okay. Yeah. So you're the listing agent and you get a bunch of offers. You're presenting all of them, right? Showing them exactly what everything that comes in. What else is another way to be a fiduciary?
Working to get the best deal, whether it's on the buying side or the selling side.
Working to get the best deal, of course. What
Making
else?
sure that they're 100% educated on the entire process so that they know exactly what they're getting into at the time that they're doing it.
That's a great one.
Keeping their information confidential.
Keeping their information confidential, right? Making this professional. So if you're working with a family member or a friend and you might know some of their finances, maybe you needed to get a copy of their divorce decree to send to escrow, and they might have sent it to you instead of straight to escrow. I mean, there's some dirty things in there. Their credit, you got bank statements sometimes you're working with, a lot about them. So keeping that stuff confidential and professional is being a fiduciary as well. Okay.
Also
So-
being honest with your interests. So
Being
if you're like
honest with your
related
interests.
to them or.
Yeah. So when you're looking for properties and you see one they're listed and they're paying 1% and the other one's paying 3%, do you steer them toward the 3%, or does that matter to you? That's the fiduciary, where it's like you're looking at their best interest, not yours, and they're entrusting you in that. It's actually a California civil code to work on their best interest. So it's the first document you sign with them with the 81, right? The relationship form. So yeah, so we all kind of understand that putting their needs in front of ours. Fiduciary is a big thing. So some of these other real estate companies that are coming out, they're looking to be more of a functionary. They're not looking at their client's best interest. It's more transactional than it is personal. So I've steered customers away from buying properties. If you can look at a property and say, hey, look, based on the circumstance of what I've seen, this might not be a best fit for you and your family because I know you're okay with having an alley here, but on the other side of an alley, maybe there's a bar. And the bar is probably not the best place for the kids, or maybe a smoke shop, or maybe something next to a busy street and your kids are like little, ride bikes all the time. So like bringing things up to them, understanding what their needs are, and maybe pointing out some problems that they might not think are problems that could actually have them cancel or alter their deal. Like, that's being a fiduciary in their best interest. And they'll really trust you if you say, hey, look, I've looked at these numbers. I've looked at this house and the condition. I know a lot about construction, and I know that for this house to be safe, it's going to need $100,000 worth of upgrades. Like, it's like, I wouldn't buy this house for my family. So you'd hate for them to not get a deal, but being 100% brutally honest with them and doing what's in their best interest, and it's giving them enough information for them to make the best decision, that's an amazing fiduciary. And you will build a really strong bond with them, and they will know that you're always got their back and that you're going to always do what's in their best interest. So that's super, super, super important. So what I'd like to do is take a little bit. Anybody have any questions around that? Are we all kind of on the same page? We're all good? Cool. So now I want to take a look about, what was that, Rich?
Oh no, I was actually gonna throw in that point where It's a little bonus what you talked about. These online companies like Open Door, Zillow, Redfin, and offering to buy and sell people's homes. That's all functionary. I think you brought up that point. I never thought about it that way. Of just even presenting it to a potential client that is considering doing an Open Door or Redfin, hiring them instead of us. That's a totally perfect example, I think, of functionary and fiduciary.
Yeah, they can go through the functions, and anybody can go through the functions. I mean, it's a computer, right? You can sit here and like, here's disclosures, fill them out, right? So here's this, let's move on to the next step. It's been 17 days. Let's release contingencies. Like, those are all functions of the business. Would you have your customer release contingencies on their appraisal today? Like, say, for example, in a normal market, but their appraisal doesn't come back till Monday. Like, not knowing what the appraisal is and that you think the value is really off. Would you put your people in that position? I would explain to them the benefits of not doing that and the consequences of doing it. I would highly suggest not releasing contingencies yet until we get through this mark and have more information to make a better decision. But I mean, the decision is 100% the customers. I would probably advise against something like that. And if they move forward with it, then it's on them, right? But as a fiduciary looking on their best interest, I'm going to give it to them 100%. And these other companies usually don't do that. Like, they're looking to be functions of a real estate transactions compared to being actual human thinking about their best interest, not just getting through a transaction. So what I'd like to do is talk a little bit about the value proposition. We're going to take a look at some data from NAR around what buyers and sellers are actually looking for. And we want to discuss some ways, and then later we'll discuss some ways about how some technology could help boost your value proposition as well. So if you look at your participation guide, I want to say on page 6, I think I have a slide for that. I do. There we go. Now this is from 2018, right? So this is what buyers are actually looking for. So on the chart, it shows 52% to help find the right home, or to find them the right home to purchase. And then obviously 14% is to help negotiate the terms of their sale, and so on and so forth. 11% to help them negotiate. And then they had 23% with like 500 other things. So here's what the graph is showing that buyers are looking for. So why are we talking about this when it comes to value proposition? Oh, that was a question. I was going to answer my own question, but I figured I'd have you guys answer it. Why do you think we're talking about what buyers want, and why does this even matter when it comes to building a value proposition?
Because you can craft your value around what they want.
100%. There you go. Gold star. So exactly. So if you know what the problems are, it's similar going to a buyer's consultation or a listing presentation. When we start off the conversation, like, hey, what are your concerns? Hey, before we get started today, what are your concerns? Like, it's a script I love to use. Before we get started, what are your concerns? Oh, dude, I'm concerned about like finding the right home. Like, you could literally ask them and they'll tell you, and then you're going to build your value proposition around that. So if 52% of people that you talk to are like, hey, I need help finding the right home, now it's time for you to go back to the values about yourself that you just wrote down. What are some of the values about yourself? Like knowing the industry, being hardworking, being able to solve problems. We're going to go back to some of the words that you wrote down about yourself, and then we're going to create sentences to talk about your value and why you're the one to choose your value proposition around what their needs are. So, so in the guide, we're already on page 6. Okay, excellent. So if you're on page 6, it'll break down, kind of these percentages on here. And we want to take a look at some of the values they're looking for. So we talked about what buyers want. And now let's talk about when they surveyed buyers, they said, what do you value, right? And here's some of the values. The hugest one is the reputation of the agent, right? 52%, the reputation of my agent. And then 14% is to help buyers negotiate the terms of their sale. These are the things that they value. They value your reputation. Ooh, I was talking a lot earlier. Need some water. So if you know that they value your reputation, your value proposition should be around what type of phrasing or what type of words? Did somebody say trust? Oh, awesome. Your reputation around you as an individual, who you are. So when we go back and look at what people think of you on page 4, how would people personally describe you? Hardworking, I put loving, helpful, fun, funny, determined. So are these the things that people think about you? These are things that you are. These are your values. If they want to know what the reputation that you have, some of the words that you're going to use or phrases you're going to use is, trustworthiness. I'm honest. So the reputation is like, well, thousands, hundreds of buyers trust my team and I, or my company and I, if you're brand new, my company and I, to help them find the best home. Like there's a reason why we are so big, right? Because agents trust us in helping them partner with them to build their business. Same thing. We did 1.5 million transactions last year. So, customers trust the reputation of our company. That's why we've sold 1.5 million homes just last year alone during a pandemic. That's a lot, right? You guys were on the class with Eddie yesterday? Yeah, he says right a lot. Isn't that correct? So my buddy Eddie there. So you see how we could start taking a look at some of the values and some of the wants that the buyers have to be able to start creating phrases and words to help build your value proposition so that you could put it all together. So let's take a real quick at what sellers want. So sellers are looking for some of the same stuff, right? They're looking at the reputation of the agent. My buyer's value. There we go. What sellers want. I was on the wrong slide here. So they want to be able to market the home to potential buyers and help price it competitively, right? Then they want to help sell their home in a specific time frame. They want to find a buyer for their home. So as you're looking at some of these percentages, what sellers actually want needs to be in your value proposition if you're looking to get sellers. So on page, I think we're on the same page. What buyers want, what sellers want. Here we go. Page 8. We're doing the same thing. What sellers want. 20% of them, they want to know where the buyers are at. How do you market my home to buyers? Where are the buyers at? So if you were to come across, I know one guy, his name's Rudy. His tagline is, "We have the buyers." So if you know that sellers are looking for agents who know how to find buyers, his tagline is, "Hire Rudy, we have the buyers." And then he refers to his database. You guys are all building databases. Every single person in your database is a potential buyer, all of them, even yourself. All of you would buy a home today from me if you could afford it. All of you. Like, we're all in here to build wealth and own real estate. So everybody is a buyer, not everybody is a seller. So every single person in your database is a potential buyer. How many people are in your database? 1,000, 1,500? You could say, hey, I have 1,500 buyers ready to buy. They are. They're ready to buy. This might not be the best deal for them, but they are all buyers. So if you know sellers are looking for buyers, if your tagline is, hey, use me, I have the buyers, most likely already, then that's something that they'd be really attracted to. So, or what was the second one? Price their home competitively. How do you price a home competitively? You first need to know the market. So do you all know the market? Have you been studying? I mean, it's kind of a crazy market. Just pick a price. Your home is worth $300,000 more than that. But typically, you're going to know the market. So being a master of the market, or studying the market, or be the local economist of choice, which is what Gary Keller wants you to be, the economist of choice. When it comes to knowing the economy, knowing the housing market, he wants you to be the expert. So that when customers are looking for an expert, they're looking for you, because obviously 20% of sellers are looking for someone to price their home competitively. And you can't do that unless you don't know the market. So obviously knowing the market and having a pool of buyers, or knowing where the buyers are at, that's 40% of what sellers are looking for. So how would you turn those into some words is what we're going to get to. We're going to actually have a great activity here. So I think I stepped ahead of myself with sellers, but let's just go back and think of, well, let's finish with the sellers here. Come on. Now let's look at what sellers value. 16%, they're looking for the reputation of the agent. 19%, they want someone who's honest and trustworthy. You know, that's their largest asset. So what do they value? Again, they're valuing your personality. They're valuing who you are as a fiduciary, not a functionary, right? This isn't agent's experience, right? That's probably the only functionary on the list besides all the 35% of the other stuff. The reputation of the agent, you know, are they honest and trustworthy? Those are all fiduciary things. What do other people think about you? What type of person are you? So these are human attributes. So when you building your value proposition, what do you want people to know about you as a person? Like they want to see your reputation. Do other people trust you? And I wrote down on my sheet, because I did this earlier this morning, was reviews. The easiest way to show the reputation for buyers and sellers is in your reviews. I know one agent, his name's Ron Arnold. He's out of our other Keller Williams office. Amazing guy. He walks into a listing presentation with a 3-ring binder. It's literally like a phone book. It's like 2.5 inches thick. It's filled with printed reviews. He would print out his reviews and he would bring them and just set them on the table. And he wouldn't really talk about them, but they're there. And if they were to ask, like, what's in that book there? He's like, oh, I just wanted to share with you my reviews, like actually in person, what they could actually flip through and see hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of reviews from his customers. Now, reviews necessarily don't have to be past sales. Like reviews could be character references. For example, when I was going through the police academy, when they were doing a background check, they wanted to see character references. They wanted to review who you know. And then they wanted to obviously review those people to find out more people who you know, because they were looking for character references. You know, they weren't looking for a rap sheet, right? Some of those things don't exist. They wanted to see who you are as a person. So they were asking those things. And it looks like our buyers and sellers, what they value the most is who you actually are. So maybe some of your reviews could be just a character reference. You know, I've known Jasmine for 25 years and she's been this and this and this. You know, it could be your pastor from your church telling you, giving you a review about something that you've done in the community. Like, your reviews don't have to actually be past sales. So I would ask people to give you some character reviews, even other real estate agents. If you've done a great transaction, or maybe you went into an open house, or you met an agent who just came across and was so helpful and kind and professional, one way to, you know, to really get them to not necessarily accept your offer, but to build a really great relationship is like, you know what, I really appreciate you during this transaction. You were really easy to work with. Like, I'm going to give you a great Google review, like really from a peer review. And then the next time I go into a listing presentation, one of the values that I wrote down that we'll talk about is like, other agents want to work with me. Other agents value my reputation, and that's huge. So when I list your property or I'm working with you as a buyer, other agents want to work with me. When I write your offer, that other agent sees who I am and they know who I am and what I've done, or even just know who I am, especially if you're new, if they just know me and know my type of character, that I don't write offers that are bogus. My buyers that I'm buying are serious. We don't house shop, we house buy. Like, we're one and done. We write an offer, we're in and out. I could they know that I'm a great negotiator. So when an issue does come up, I'm able to negotiate with my buyer to solve that issue because I'm a problem solver. I'm not a problem maker. They're not going to get into an argument with me because I'm not going to argue with them. There's no reason to argue. We're on the same side here. We're getting what our customers want. We're both fiduciaries. So we want to be, you know, obviously cordial to each other. So any questions on that? Anybody want to fill in, or, you know, maybe throw some comments or some concerns in there? Or
I actually was going to ask about collecting reviews as a new agent when you haven't done any transactions. So that was really helpful to know that we can kind of build some inventory in that way, even if it's just based on character and has nothing to do with being new and not having done anything yet.
Yeah, because I don't think on some of these reviews they ask you, you know, they might ask your address. It doesn't mean you sold my house. I mean, character reviews are huge. I think and we're seeing this in the values when we're looking. This is from 2018. I think even more than now, throughout the pandemic, through 2020, people really care about who you actually are. They're really looking at the actual person they could trust. I mean, this is the largest financial purchase or sale usually in their lifetime. They don't have $800,000 401ks usually, right? They're not buying and selling $800,000 cars. This is a big investment for their family, and they're huge. It's their largest wealth determiner as well. So you actually have the fiduciary is an honor, like they were saying, earlier. It's an honor to be a fiduciary for somebody. You are doing them a great service. And when you do that great service and you could actually portray that value onto them of what you're doing for them, they should be very thankful that they have somebody like you in their corner, someone that actually cares about them, that's trustworthy and honest, has a great reputation, right? So that goes a long way. And that's where you're going to get your reviews from. And that's where you're going to get your referrals from. So let's take a look. Let's go back a step and take a look at some of the buyer stuff. What skills do you have, or what services do you offer that align with what buyers want? So here's what buyers want. We'll go back 2 pages. There we go. They want to find the right home to purchase, and they want help negotiating the terms of their sale. If these are 2 of the biggest things that buyers want, what skills do you have that offer that are in line with what the buyer's needs?
Negotiation skills.
Negotiation skills. There you go. So those are some great skills. What else?
A knowledge of the market to help them find the right home at the right price in the right area that checks all the boxes that they need.
Okay, knowing the market. I mean, that's huge too. So these are some skills that you have. How about some great listening skills? Instead of selling and telling, actually listening to what your buyer's needs, asking the right questions so you could dig deeper on what's best suited for them in a house or in an area, or why they want that, would be able for you to break down to find out what houses fit them or don't fit them. So what else? Most of you are fairly new, but having some sort of track record of success, might not just be in this industry, might be in another industry. I've successfully helped, do this or do that, to be able to get them. Some of you are educated, right? You actually have a college degree. That comes a long way too. Like, I know how to get to the finish line. Like, I finish things. I don't just go to school and give up. And if you did go to school and give up, so like myself, right? Don't bring that up. But for you that have college degrees, I mean, you've shown that you could actually get through an entire process that takes years to complete, and you can go to completion. Like, you have the ability to finish, which is awesome. So that's something I might bring up, that I'm educated. That's a huge selling point as well. So people always want to work with people that are educated. What else? So what characteristics or habits do you have that align with what the buyers value? Here's their value. They value reputation, honesty, trustworthy. Do you have those same characteristics? I mean, you told us, or you wrote down a little bit about yourself. Were those some of the adjectives you wrote about yourself?
The one I always use is communication. I'm very communicative. The number one issue in this industry is lack of communication. And I always let them know that I'm going to communicate with them 100% every step of the way, so that they know exactly what's going on at any given time.
Right. So that's a really great point, George. And that shows empathy as well. Like, I understand that this process might be a little scary, might be a little challenging, and you're going to have a lot of questions. And you could assure that because I know that, I'm going to over communicate with you. So I'm with you 100% of the way. So you're actually calming them down and letting them feel that you understand. You've been through this process before. You know what? We just recently bought our home. I've been through this entire process. I know what you're going through. And since I do know that, I'm here for you. Like, I'm here to walk you through this process so you're not going to have this stress or this anxiety. So in a group, what I'd like to do is I'd like to select a few of you. I'm going to kind of put you guys in some groups real quick. This will be kind of fun. Put you in a couple groups, and I'd like you guys to talk about some of the words that you've used to describe yourself for the buyers, what they're looking for and their value, and then turn those into some phrases that you could use maybe in portraying your value. Like for example, I have a great reputation, right? So in doing those, I wrote down, other agents know me and they prefer to work with me, and my company. So I wrote down, like, what are some of the characteristics or habits that I have for buyers is that I have a great reputation. So instead of saying, hey, Mr. Buyer, I got a great reputation, what I'm going to say is, you know what, working with me, other agents actually want to work with me and prefer to work with me and my company. That's why we've done X, Y, and Z, right? So it's giving them an understanding of my reputation and why people want to work with me. Maybe honest and trustworthy. You could depend on me to help you make the best decisions, or I'll walk you through, the entire process, or I'll work to serve in your best interest, and maybe give an example of that. So you don't know homes, but I do. So as I go through the home inspection report, I'm going to comb through that with you and point out the things that are most valuable or the most cost effective or things that are most concerning. And we're going to discuss those together. So you don't have to worry about that. And that's going to show them that not only am I honest and trustworthy, but I know my product as well. So in that sentence is telling them that I know houses, I know home inspections, I've done this in the past. And it also shows that I'm going to be honest with them and point everything out that I think is a really big concern. So instead of telling them all those things, I could just simply tell them that, I will help you make the best decisions in this, this, and this, because I've done it in the past. So let's go and let's talk about this a little bit. Take a look at your page. What page you got? Page 4, the words that you describe yourself. And then also take a look at page 8 or 7 or 6, one of those, what buyers want or what sellers want. Take a look at what some of their needs are, and then create a couple of phrases or words around what, I got to exit my screen here. What you could turn some of those action words or those phrases into words, or those words into phrases. So does everybody get what I'm getting at? You picking up what I'm throwing down? I know you hear me, but do you feel me? No? Okay, cool. So we got a couple breakout, I think it's only 3. So go ahead and hop in a room. We're just gonna do it for 2 or 3 minutes and hop right back out. But have a conversation. If you got an opportunity, turn your cameras on, say hi to everybody. And let's take some of our words and turn them into some phrases that we could use to perpetuate our value. Awesome. Hop into a room there. Another one of those days? Yeah. Chris, what happened? You're not in a room? Chris is in a room with us. Holy crap. We should be helping Chris. It's pretty hard for you to talk, Chris, since you're got to type everything. I get that. So we'll actually do this. We'll do it together, Chris. We're going to go through a couple one-on-ones here where we could, or you could work with Richard on this, on just picking some of the words that that describe you and how to turn them into sentences or phrases that are going to perpetuate your value, you know? And I know it's a little tricky, but you know, we'll work on it here. So. Jasmine, how was that?
It was really good. I spoke with Karina, and I like what she said about she's new like I am, but she said she's bought 4 properties and worked in the mortgage industry. So she's very knowledgeable about that. So that's how she would kind of tell her client. And then with mine, I told them that I'd be adaptable because I know a lot of people work a 9 to 5. They're not available during the day to see homes or have meetings. And so I'd be able to conform to their schedule to best fit their needs.
There you go. Sweet. All right. Is everyone back? I think everyone's back. Cool. So what did y'all think? Were you able to have a quick conversation? Anybody have some difficulties?
AJ and I were having a good conversation. That's why it took us so long to come back.
One thing you know about AJ is all in. Like he is full force, like he's sucking it up like a sponge. Like whatever you throw at him, he's building. So really appreciate his input. So do you kind of get where we're going at? Like to build your value proposition, just finding who you are and what you do, and then understanding what your clients' needs are. It might not be like, this might not be their need. So being able to sit down with them in a listing consultation, in a buyer's consultation, maybe isolating up front, what are their concerns? You'll be able to understand and be able to fill that gap with a value proposition that could be as easy as just one sentence. So we learned this in scripts and role play. If you guys have scripts and role play at your offices, you can always swing by and do scripts and role play with us if you're in the area. But Richard is teaching a lot of scripts and role plays, and a lot of things, you know, we'll do is we'll repeat what their challenge is, and then we'll usually answer it and then maybe level shift or move over to something else. So, you know, sometimes they're looking for somebody that they trust. For example, like, you know, I want to list with a guy in the neighborhood because he sells, you know, he sold 3 homes here already. He's the neighborhood guy, you know? So you're looking for somebody that gets results. Is that right? So it might not be the neighborhood guy. It might be they're looking for results. So very narrowing down what their actual concern or their needs are, we'll be able to fill that with what our value proposition. So if they're looking for, you know, somebody that's knowledgeable in the area, right? Is, you know, well, this guy knows the area. Okay, usually I'll ask them something like, well, who's lived in the neighborhood the longest? So, well, George's been here the longest. Okay, great. How long's George been here? He's been here for 45 years. Awesome. Why don't you hire him to sell your house? Well, yeah, you're not going to hire George because George doesn't know how to bring buyers to your house, doesn't know how to negotiate contracts, right? So are you really looking for someone who knows the area, or are you actually looking for somebody who could drive the most buyers to your property, market and advertise your property, and then negotiate the terms to get you the money that you need to get you the retirement home, right? So really being able to break that down into your value, what you bring to the table is your value proposition. So sometimes what they want or what they need, they might be a little confused. So we'll learn a lot of those things in scripts and role play. Oh, I was reading a message. Sorry. I I know Chris, he doesn't have a mic either, so he's got to type everything. But he's here, and I appreciate you, buddy. So great. Now we kind of talked just about what the buyers were looking for. Now what about the sellers? Like the sellers want something almost similar. A lot of them are looking for the same things. They're looking for trustworthiness. They're looking for people who can get results. So if you don't have any results yet, what results do you have or that you could portray that would show your value as a listing agent? So AJ, I could pick on you for a minute. You haven't sold anything yet, and you're looking to take a listing, right? And you know that listing, the seller is looking for probably two things, usually two things. Number one, someone that they can trust, right? Number two, they're looking for someone who can get them results. So based on what you know about yourself, you know, what phrases or words can you use to describe yourself in a way that's going to show you value around getting results and somebody that you can trust?
Yeah. So results. I know we'll get the results that you're looking for, because I don't feel like I succeed until I've helped you succeed in what you're looking for. I'm not sure.
Gotcha. Hey, real quick, whose office are you in?
Remo's.
Gotcha. So you happen to be on Remo's team?
Yeah.
Gotcha. How many people trust Remo?
Everyone.
Gotcha. What kind of results does Remo have?
The best. So our team is super reliable. You know, we're well known in the area. You know, agents that we speak with actually do know us and want to work with us, and prefer to work with us more than most other other teams. And our team is produces some of the best results for the clients that we work with. We have over 100 5-star Yelp reviews that we can show you that prove that we do deliver.
There you go. I mean, that was a lot. I'm sure you could, with some scripting, really define that. But you have over 100 Yelp reviews of satisfied customers who've been getting the top dollar for home and that proven results. Those are the people that weren't even lazy enough to actually do a review. Imagine how many hundreds of others haven't gave you a review.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're not even using your numbers. You've never sold anything before.
Yeah.
But you're saying my team and I,
right,
have done this, and this is what customers trust. So we're talking about, we're actually borrowing trust from somebody else. So, which is totally fine. So there's you could take trust and shift it over to somebody else. It's like if you were, if you were injured or your house or something was coming up and you needed some help and there was a fireman walking by, right? You would automatically trust them, right? They're firemen, right? Or an EMT or a police officer. Oh my gosh, somebody's, I feel in danger. Well, maybe the police is a bad example. I'm just kidding. So say, for example, you're in danger and you see a police officer, right? You're going to think that they're automatically there to protect you. So you could actually borrow the trust from, you don't know them. You've never worked with them. You never talked with them before, but because of their uniform, you're trusting them. So you're borrowing their trust from others. Doctors are the same way. White coat, you're sick, you're going to know the doctors. You've never met this doctor before. They should be able to help you. You're borrowing trust off the name of doctors. So you're borrowing the trust of Remo the realtor, who's had decades of success, massive success. So you're borrowing his trust by saying we, my team and I, my company and I. My company and I sold $408 billion in sales last year. Like, wait, what? During a pandemic? What? Yeah, we did that. So sellers obviously trust us more. We have the largest market share in the United States. Right? We got what, 10, 11% market share? That's huge. That's massive. 10%, 2% market share is huge. We got 10%, 11%, in some areas a lot more. So sellers trust us, that's why we have X, Y, and Z. So you can actually just move it over to trust. So understanding what the values are, you can actually start building that into the words that you use when you start marketing and advertising to portray your value. So that all makes sense? You guys all good? Cool. So there's actually an exercise that I'd like to do where it is we are going to create your value proposition. So I'm not sure if this is even on my screen here in the PowerPoint presentation, which it's not. So if you're cool, we can kind of drop the PowerPoint presentation and go straight to page 12. Does everybody have page 12? No? Let me see if I can find it. No, I'll share my screen here. Let's see. My computer's a little slow. I know, I need a new one. And it's an Apple, so I'm really having a hard time figuring out how to use the thing. Let's see, participation guide, right here. Let's flip through a couple pages here. Okay, I'm here. Let me go back and share my screen here, which I thought I was doing the whole time, by the way. So share screen, desktop. I lost my screen. Where am I at, Richard?
I don't know where. You know, Rob, though, while you're doing that, if I could also add on to, you know, with AJ using the team that he's on, I mean, obviously, I mean, a top team in Keller Williams, but I think all of us can just even connect ourselves to the brand, which is Keller Williams, right? That's the number, and whether you're a part of a team or not, we're Keller Williams. We're the big boys, right? We're the largest real estate company in the world, and connect ourselves with that brand that people definitely heard. They
Gotcha. So can everybody see the screen here? Yes. Okay, perfect. So I know Cassidy came in. Like, he sounds like you need some help. So, which I usually do, by the way. So great. So we want to kind of map out your value proposition. So, you know, review a lot of your answers that you had on the previous pages, and then start to brainstorm on what you want to include in your value proposition. When it comes to some of these attributes here, like service, character, skills, knowledge, maybe tech, maybe past experience, and you're going to start putting those characteristics or those words or phrases next to those as you start to build your value proposition overall. So what are some of the somebody share with some of these when it comes to character, right? So maybe trustworthiness. So service might, or knowledge of the industry, you know, might be understanding the market or being an economist of choice. You know, your skills could be, you know, whatever your skills are. Pick a skill. You know, listening. You know, I understand customers' needs, be able to fill, you know, what that is. You know, your service could be maybe your results. Like AJ was saying, we have, you know, tons of reviews when it comes to character witness. I got 100 Yelp reviews. So you can actually start filling in some of your words to this chart, and then you'll actually start to say all of those, and that will become your value proposition when you're chatting with people. And these will be the scripts that you'll learn. So Richard, you want to share some of these? What are some of the words you're going to fill in, or phrases you'll fill in for some of these characteristics?
Yeah, you know, service, I guess it goes with services. Like the phrase that I like is all in. Like, I'm all in on you right now. And as far as your real estate agent, once you hire me, I'm all in. I don't stop. I think about selling your house. If your house is not getting offers, that's what keeps me up at night, of how I can improve that. It consumes me. That's the kind of service you're going to get.
Gotcha. What about skills? Like for skills for me, like I know houses, I know construction. So I know how to tear a house apart. I know how to build a house. So I really understand the product that we're looking at, not just the bedrooms and baths and where the kitchen is, but the actual structure of the house, the foundation. You know, the top 5 most expensive things in your house are foundation, electrical, plumbing, the roof, and then the mechanical, which is the heat and the AC. I really understand those structures and how those are the largest portions of the house. Everything else is kind of cosmetic. So because of that construction background or those skills, you know, I could help you make the best decisions when purchasing a house. So if you're not new in the industry, you know, knowledge, I've been in real estate for quite a long time. So I understand, you know, the actual process, and I've worked with hundreds of customers. So that's that one's easy for me. For the rest of you, you have probably massive amount of knowledge that might not actually even pertain to your real estate career, like customer service knowledge. You know, some of you are educated, right? That's a great deal of knowledge. Some of you really know contracts.
Or knowledge with financing and knowing how interest rates work, knowing the lending side and guiding them through that.
Yeah. So my extensive knowledge in the mortgage industry is going to help you make a great financial decision when it comes to purchasing this house. My knowledge of the real estate market and the trends over the last 40 years will help you determine the wealth of your family as we go to buy more properties together. You know, families trust me to build generational wealth for their families. Like, you know, some of these phrases that you'll use, you know, about yourself will become your value proposition. So could somebody maybe share some of the others that you might use as your value proposition?
I've been working on educating myself pretty extensively on first-time buyer programs because that's what I want to specialize in. So I bring a lot of value to people who are brand new, have never bought a house before, and really have a strong desire to do so. I really want to make myself a valuable tool to those people because there are specific programs available to them to make that more attainable.
Okay. One of the slogans I've used for years is, like on my old logo right here, is helping families create wealth through real estate. And that was my tagline and my slogan for years and years. Is like, I help families create wealth. Now, families, you know, people love the word families. Families, you know, they all have families, or they want to build a family, or they want to leave something to their family, right? So they're thinking about something other than themselves. So I'm not thinking about myself. I help families create wealth through real estate. And then I'm able to really get them to understand where the wealth actually comes from. Because some people just think I'm just buying a home. You're helping first-time homeowners take a step toward financial freedom. You know, it's a huge step. So really understanding that value, and then they feel the value when you're able to share that value proposition with them. It's like, oh, wow, like that's awesome. So I know what it takes to get into your first home. And then from there, it's like, we're going to have a conversation. Once you're in, you're going to be excited about it. Now I'm really going to show you how to build generational wealth on your second, third, and fourth home. You might not think it's possible, but guess what? It starts with the first steps with me. And that's what I specialize in, helping renters turn them into homeowners and acquiring the American dream. So really start thinking about like the words that you used about yourself and what you think others are going to say about you or how they feel about you. And then understanding what sellers and buyers actually want, what your customers' needs are. And your customers' needs might change based on the customer. For example, I'm working with a guy right now who does a lot of international buyers, right? He works with the EB-5 program, which is they have to invest a certain dollar amount into the US economy so they can get green cards. So his customer base is different. So his value proposition would be just that. Like, I know how to help you become American citizens by investing and getting green cards in this program. So he's able to express that value, and that's where his customer base comes from. So your value proposition, one of our agents out of the Long Beach office, Sandra Zucca, and I don't know if any of you guys from the Long Beach office, Pacific Estates Long Beach, probably some of them. Sandra Zucca, she's on the second floor there. I helped recruit her into Cerritos when she first started. Amazing woman, super educated. She's a teacher, and she helps teachers become financially wealthy by investing in units, in investment properties. So her value proposition, why these teachers are giving everything to their students, they're not necessarily thinking about themselves. They're putting their students first. And you know what? They're not becoming financially free by spending 35 or 40 years educating children. Her job is to understand that and teach them and show them how to be financially free. So she's like, you keep doing that. I'm going to take your finances. I'm going to help you buy investment properties to become wealthy. And then that's her niche and that's her value proposition. And she's amazing at it. She's an amazing woman. If you haven't got to meet Sandra Zucca, she's in the Long Beach office. So maybe we'll have her come on a panel and talk. She's I don't know. I meet a lot of people and she's wowed me for a long time. So she's awesome. Cool. What else? What else do you think about value? Let's talk real briefly about our value at Keller Williams. We actually have a mission. It's called an MVVBP. It's a mission, vision, values, beliefs, and perspective that we like to share with our customers, which is you, and your customers to understand what our company is about and what we're about. So our mission is at Keller Williams is to build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving. That's our mission for our agents and our company. Our vision is to be the real estate company of choice for our agents and your customers. So our value proposition, our value is God, family, and business. Like those are our values. So when it comes to like building your schedule, those are what comes first. You know, your obligations outside for God or whatever you believe in comes first. Your family comes second. That goes on your calendar. And the third thing you focus on is your business. Your family and some other things are more important than business. So focus on them first. Those are our values. They go in that order. Our belief system, we actually call the Y4C2Ts. So it's an acronym that's broken down into win-win or no deal, integrity, do the right thing, customers always come first, commitment in all things, communication, seek first to understand, obviously being learning based, creativity, ideas before results, teamwork, together, everyone achieves more, trust starts with honesty, equity, opportunities for all, and success results through people. So that's our belief system. We call it the Y4C2Ts. Our perspective is to be a technology company that provides real estate platform for our agents, buyers, and sellers that they prefer. So we think like a top producer, we act like a trainer consultant, and we focus on the activities and service, productivity, and then obviously profitability. Biggest part of your business is profitability, right? And then have you guys heard of the 6 personal perspectives? Okay, we got a lot of acronyms here and we got a lot of training at Keller. So the 6 personal perspectives, you'll probably see it every single one of your team meetings. It's part of the core foundation of Keller Williams, and there's 6 steps to it. Number 1 is commit to self-mastery. Mastering a lot of things, but committing to self-mastery yourself. I'm going to nail it. I'm going to master myself and me, right? Number 2 is going to be commitment, which is the 80-20 principle. I'm going to focus on mastering my big rocks, doing what 20% of my activities are going to be 80% of the results. So I'm going to commit to the 80-20 principle, focus on doing that 20% first. And then moving from E to P, that's moving from entrepreneurial to purposeful. It's creating systems, models, and sometimes people to break through ceilings to get you to where you really want to be and very purposeful in your business instead of just being an entrepreneur. You're driven, you have a goal, right? So how do we break through those? And then number 4 is being learning based. Being learning based on the foundation of everything that you do. So I'm willing to be taught, and I always pursue learning. Always pursue learning. So I always pretend like I know nothing. If you're going to teach me something, I'll sit down and listen. I want to learn something new today. So, and then number 5 is removing all your limiting beliefs. So you're going to be positive. You're not going to be negative. You're not going to live in a world where you're a victim and somebody's holding you back. In your business, you could do anything that you want to do. So removing your limiting beliefs and giving yourself positive affirmations to live off of. And number 6 is probably one of the most important, is actually being accountable. Be accountable to somebody else, and be an accountability partner, or have somebody hold you accountable. So out of those 6 personal perspectives, right, I went through them quite quickly. We actually teach training classes on the whole thing. Committing to self-mastery, the 80-20 principle, moving from E to P, being learning-based, removing your limiting beliefs, and holding yourself or being accountable. Which one of those 6 stands out to you the most?
Removing the limiting beliefs.
Oh, I
Because
was just gonna say that.
I think mindset is a huge thing that stands in our way, like one of the biggest things.
I think so too.
I agree.
I mean, if you don't believe in you, who else is going to believe in you? You got to come across with a sense of confidence. You know, you got to actually believe in yourself and get all that other garbage out of the way. So definitely mindset is usually number 1, being in the right mindset. If you came to work today and you're in the wrong mindset, go home. You know, if you're making cold calls and you're in the wrong mindset, are you really going to accomplish anything? No, you're not. So if you had a rough month, like if you had a rough June, right now is a good time. It's Friday. It's a good time to check out, pack up your stuff, go home, enjoy the weekend, clear your mind, reset. Sunday, start writing some stuff down, get refocused. And then Monday, when you come back in, like hit the ground running. So you definitely need to be in the right mindset and remove some of those limiting beliefs to be able to move forward. So I think every single one of these Ignite classes, I think you guys talked about limiting beliefs a lot. You know, we put those in front of ourselves. You know, if I was to tell, like, how many, for example, real quick, for you that got, for y'all that got your cameras on, how many people are really good at drawing? Yeah, nobody raised their hand. If you were 5, and if I was to ask you, how many are really good at drawing? How many would have raised their hand? What 5-year-old do you not know that's not great at drawing? They are Picasso. They are the best, right? Yourself and society has put limiting beliefs on you. Like, I mean, being a great artist is subjective, right? My daughter's been drawing these really creepy things. It's like a round circle with 2 big dark eyeballs and a straight face, like kind of like you see in those scary movies where the kids are like etching on a sketch pad and it's like all the same crazy. She does that on the sidewalk. Neighbors are walking by going, what the heck's wrong with this kid, man? Different colors. They're all the same creepy round face, big eyes, all colored in. Yeah. So if I asked her, it's like, hey, her name's Adeline. I said, Adeline, are you an amazing artist? She goes, oh yeah, I love to draw. I'm great. And she'll go out and draw me the same creepy face over and over again, right? She doesn't have a limiting belief that I'm not a great artist. She thinks she's the best. So that's a great example of like you not knowing that, are you putting a limiting belief on yourself? So stop doing that. It's not good. It's not healthy. You guys are great artists. So, and everyone that doesn't have your camera on, you guys are beautiful. All of you. No, awesome, cool. I think I lost my train of thought with my power.
Thank you. I needed to hear that today.
So don't worry about it. Somebody loves you. Your mama loves you. Everybody does. So lastly, I mean, this is our PowerPoint. I don't know if you want to go back to the PowerPoint, but distinguishing yourself from other people, like understanding what your competition is and understanding what their value proposition is and being able to overcome that. So recently we've had a lot of like tech companies that want to step into our game and they want to outshine us or lower our commission by offering just a functionary transaction. So understanding what your biggest competition and what their value proposition is extremely important to win. So our goal is to obviously win our customers over with our value proposition, get our people into our database, and then build a moat around that so that nobody else touches them. To really do that, you have to not only portray your value proposition on everybody else, like why they should be using you, but also understanding what other people's value propositions are so that you could have some ammunition or understanding the game. That way they don't go to them. So for example, I think there was an agent or there was a customer or an agent. I tried selling my own house on Zillow. I don't know if you guys tried this, but or Redfin or one of these other companies, but I put my information in there and it shows, a difference between like what a traditional real estate company would charge compared to what Zillow would charge, or Redfin. I forgot what company it was, but I'm pretty sure it was Zillow. And it was like, well, regular real estate companies charge 4, 6, or 5 and 6%. They're going to charge me 4%. I was like, wow, awesome. Okay, I'm gonna save 2%. And then as I started rolling down, I noticed that there's other fees that are involved, and there's a 3% servicing fee. And then at the very end, I actually paid them a lot more money for somebody who's not a fiduciary, who's just a functionary. Put my house on the market. They're not negotiating. People show up, they just write offers as, hey, here's the bottom line price. What is it? And I would actually lose a bunch of money. So I actually did this, and then, they started calling me all the time. So they have some pretty good robotic follow-up. But anyhow, as I went through it, I understand that like the value that they're portraying was like, hey, sell with us. It's quick, it's simple, it's easy, and you make more money, or we charge less commission. They actually did charge less commission, but they charged more in fees. So understanding my competition when I go to a listing presentation, like, hey, well, I was thinking about just listing with Zillow. I was like, awesome. Have you looked at what that looks like? And since I know their program, I could show them what my value is and what my customers get compared to what they're actually going to get. And they not only will just get better service and me for a lifetime compared to a computer system, they're going to actually make more money as well. So understanding what your competition's got going on and their value proposition will help you with your value proposition and maybe overcome some of those objectives or objections to listing with somebody else. What are your thoughts? Who do you think is your biggest competition out there?
As a brand new agent, I feel like everybody is my biggest competition because everybody has more experience than I do.
Gotcha. Do you have a sister?
No.
A brother?
Yes.
Okay, you got a brother. You close with your brother?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So does your brother know you're in real estate?
Yeah.
Does he know you have no experience?
Yeah.
Do you think I have a better shot at getting your brother than you do?
You might. It's hard to tell.
Would it be an uphill battle for me? You think would it be an uphill battle for me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be an uphill battle for me with a lot of experience, right? It would be an uphill battle for me. Probably not as big a battle for you.
Right.
So your limiting belief was you're new,
right,
and that other people have more experience than you do, but like it would be an uphill battle for me with a lot of experience to be able to get your brother.
Right.
You could have said it was your twin brother too. It's like, oh, I got a twin brother.
He is actually my twin brother.
Is he your twin brother? Gosh, that's even harder. Wow. Imagine me infiltrating the biological thing that you guys got going on. It would be really tough. So actually you do have a better shot at getting the people that know you, that like you, that trust you.
Right.
I do. Because I'd have to convince them. I'd have to level shift and be like, I know you trust your sister and you guys like were born, an hour apart from each other, whatever, share the same DNA. But other customers of mine, right, really trust me too. I got 100 people trust me, but it's not you. So your database, the people that know, like, and trust you, you probably have the best shot at getting. And when they call you, they're probably not interviewing 5 other people either.
Right.
They want you to show up with some confidence and just be like, hey, like, what are your concerns? Like, we want to move here and here. What's the market like? And you're just going to give them a little bit of information and you're in. You don't have an uphill battle.
Yeah.
And that's where we have an advantage with our database.
That's what I've been trying to focus on, is that circle.
You build it, communicate with it, you tag it, and let them and bring them some value and let them know that you're relevant and that you're in the business, whether you're full-time, part-time, dual career, like you're in it, and they think of real estate when they think of you. Why would they call anybody else? And then on top of that, like if you're looking to build more value, I mean, you're backed by the largest real estate company in the world. You could start putting different stats out there that like, hey, we just closed 50 houses this weekend or something,
and that's just going to show them more value of your company that you belong to. So you got a lot of value as a person. You wrote it down on a piece of paper. Now it's a matter of you just telling your people that here's my value proposition, here's what I have to offer, and it's better than everybody else's. You already have an in. So get rid of those limiting beliefs. They don't serve you. So only say things about yourself that serve you. You know, I don't say I have a big nose. I say I smell, you know, I have a great sense of smell. That's what I say. So, yeah, so we want to talk a little bit about knowing your competition. Now, what about technology? I know every class we talk a little bit about tech. Are you guys familiar with the value that the tech that Keller has to be able to service your customers? No. Or maybe yes. Or you without your cameras on, I have no idea. You could be drawing a blank. So has everyone used the Keller Williams mobile app? Maybe? No?
Yes.
Do you know we have a mobile app? Okay, awesome. So the Keller Williams mobile app has been reinvented, and it's actually been beta tested by Google. So all the Google employees, we sent them the app. They were messing with it as a customer, not as a like, hey, let me build you some tech. So we gave it to them. They messed around with it. We want it to be more user friendly. We don't want it to be about you, because at the end of the day, your customer's looking for a house. They're not looking to see your face all day long. So when you go to Redfin, you go to Zillow, you go to some of these other big companies that have real estate apps, it's all about just finding a property. And that's why our app just has properties on it. Like it's a map. You're able to zoom in. What's really great is when they zoom in, they're zooming into hyper-local neighborhoods that are based on Nextdoor data. Is everybody on Nextdoor? Are you familiar with Nextdoor? No? Are you familiar with who owns all of Nextdoor's mapping data?
No.
Oh yeah, that's us. Okay, so we have every hyper-local neighborhood in the entire United States. So if you zoomed into Burnt Mattress, Iowa, if that place existed, you could see every little hyper-local neighborhood. So you could actually essentially become the hyper-local expert in every single neighborhood in the entire United States just by zooming in on your mobile app and finding those little neighborhoods. I know the neighborhood I live in is a little different than the neighborhood directly across the street. Mine are single-story homes with 2-car garages. You go across the street, they're 3-story homes, 2-story homes with 3-car garages. The values are different. The neighborhood's different. The home builder is different. What was that? Oh, that's almost commenting. So since the neighborhood's different, it has a different name. So when it comes to buying in my neighborhood, I know that my neighborhood, it's called Wagner, has specific homes, and I know that neighborhood really well. So as a buyer, if a buyer's looking for neighborhoods, I could zoom in on my app and I could see the difference between 3 or 4 different neighborhoods. I can't actually do that on the MLS. The MLS just shows me all of Placentia or all of Fullerton or all of Long Beach. It's not showing me that hyper-local neighborhood of Long Beach. And I could do that on my app. So my customers are able to see each individual hyper-local neighborhood when they're searching on my app or on my website, which is kind of cool. They don't get that on the MLS. So that's a part of tech that we have to help give you some more value for your value proposition, right? Also, when they search on your mobile app and they like properties, it's actually popping up at your command. So if I was to share my app with my brother and my brother shared that app with a friend of his, when he hits share, it's actually my information on there. I'm the agent. All of a sudden that guy's looking and liking properties. He's popping up on my command, like waving his hand, like in the air, like, hey, I'm looking at properties, call me. So I give him a call. Hey, George, because for him to be able to get my app, he's got to give me his information. He's in my command as a contact. So now I got a new contact that just popped up from nowhere, which is awesome. And then I called him up and knows he's looking at houses. I'm able to use tech to service my customers. Like, yeah, just go ahead and as you're searching, just go ahead and like a couple properties and I'll go ahead and research them for you. Or they'll look up, they'll pop up on my screen. So I'm able to use tech to service my customers a little better. How do we use tech to service our sellers a little better? Maybe some of the same reasons. Understanding each hyperlocal neighborhood and what the values are going for compared to the neighborhood across the street. So your neighbor's looking like, hey, in Fullerton, like 2 blocks down there, you know, that house is selling for this. Well, it's a different home builder. It could be different size, it could be different shape. I used to live in Anaheim on the borderline of Buena Park, and literally 6 houses over when you cross the street, it's in Buena Park. The house sold for $50,000 more just because it was across the street. It was the same house, same neighborhood, built the same year, same size. Actually, the lots in Anaheim were actually bigger. They're about 1,200 square feet bigger. It didn't matter. Like, it was in Buena Park. It actually was worth more money. It's the opposite now, but it was worth more money at that time. It was really interesting. So knowing that type of data for a seller, like, hey, look, if we were across the street, it'd be $50,000 more, being able to price the properties correctly. So we have some cool stuff coming with Command that you probably haven't seen yet when it comes to like scanning and reviewing your offers as well. So we don't want to get into what if, so we'll wait for it to come out to be able to check it out, but it's pretty sweet. Your customers are able to actually utilize Command, like your sellers, for example, as you're going through opportunities, you're able to send them out emails of where you're at during the transaction. I'm not sure if you guys are using Command at a high level, but it does some pretty cool stuff to be in communication at all times with the seller. So as you move from opportunity to opportunity through your checklists, it'll be able to give them an overview of what's just been done, which is kind of cool. So they can see where they're at throughout the entire process, through the buying and selling process, which is cool. So you're probably not there yet. I mean, some of you are fairly new, just learning Command, but as you start to get more advanced, it actually starts doing a lot more things for you. You'll learn a lot more things. So what else? What else do you guys find valuable in yourself that we can build into a value proposition? Maybe something I didn't discuss. Come on, not all at once.
What was the question?
Is there something else that you thought of as a value proposition, or something that maybe we haven't discussed that you think, I mean, because everybody's opinion is valuable. There might be something that you might find amazing as a value proposition that we haven't even talked about. Okay, so value proposition as well. Let's talk about some service vendors. How can we leverage our vendors to add value to our customers to become part of our team?
It kind of makes us into like a one-stop shop where we have everything that you need when you work with us.
Right? It's a totally separate industry that you probably know not much about, that I don't want to know much about because I like to stay in my lane. So when you work with me, we're able to provide you with 15 different loan options to help you purchase the right home that fits your family's budget. So they have options when they work with me. It's like, oh, wow, okay, I didn't think about that. I thought you were just a real estate agent. So it's working with a trust attorney. It's like, oh, well, once you do buy your house, if you're planning on building a trust, you should work with my team. We have a trust attorney that helps do X, Y, and Z. So I could add all these other people onto myself and bring myself more value. My title rep, how to hold title, like maybe problems on title, maybe real estate attorneys. One of our guys in our office, Rick, he deals with a lot of probates. Somebody died in the property or passed away and their house is going to go into probate. Like, no problem. We could help you with that. I have a team member on my team that does nothing but probates, could help you through the entire process. So I could tack on all these different service vendors to bring value to myself, why they should work directly with me. Because this is about we, it's not about me. We have an entire team here. You're building your team. So what does your team look like? I would start writing down the value that you have with your contractor, with your home inspector, with your title rep, with your home warranty rep, and what those things look like to be able to bring value to yourself and using their services to promote your own value. What are your thoughts on that?
I think the vendor thing is huge.
So which vendor would you use, or which vendor do you use to go ahead and bring yourself more value to your customer?
Well, if it's especially if you're on the buying side, it's definitely the lenders, right? A lot of them they don't know who to talk to as far as loans go, and they look to you. Sometimes my buyers will actually say, "Hey, this is what my lender's telling me. Is this normal? Is this legit?" They kind of look to you for that sort of guidance. And also at the same time, like you're saying, we do want to stay in our lane, right? We aren't the actual lenders, but it's more of, well, hey, if they're saying that that's what they need, I trust that is what they need.
I use them as an extension of myself all the time. I totally agree. I don't, and the laws in lending change all the time. The programs change all the time, and it's not my business, right? I'm focusing on the real estate side. I let the lender focus on their business, but I'm able to leverage what they do as part of my team. Like when you work with me, these are the things that we provide, which is awesome.
And then on the listing side, I think a lot of sellers would really value if you know a lot of contractors. So, they say, when they ask me a question, well, do you know any contractors? I kind of, in a jokingly way, I'm like, well, you want license or unlicensed? I got both. I kind of like joke around with that. And I also show them on my phone. I'm like, if I just search contractors on my phone, look at this list of contractors that I have. Because I always try to collect numbers. If I go into a home and I see contractors working on the home for a client or whatever it is, I'm like, hey, let me get your number. I'd love to have your contact on my phone. So for sellers, I found that knowing good contractors is extremely valuable to them.
And it is extremely valuable. So when you list with me, not only do we get you the best price, but we have the resources to help prep your property to make it look its very best to get you top dollar. That's what you want, right? Awesome. Sign here. Sign on the dotted line. You need a pen?
By the way, I know a great vendor called DocuSign. Let me send you something to sign right now. So
you can sign it on my phone. I can DocuSign it to you right now. We're good. Let's get started. Awesome. How's everybody been on getting your homework done? Not last week, yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, you guys talked about goals. You guys were building your economic model. You were building your GPS on where your business is coming from, your lead generation model. You're building a 411. You were putting together a schedule. It was a lot of information yesterday. I think Eddie went through it pretty quickly in an hour. Has everyone able to finish it or accomplish their homework, or had any questions on that part that I could help you with to get started? Everyone did it? That's amazing. You guys are awesome. I knew it.
Well,
Right.
I did my GPS already. Remember, you helped me with that. And I already had done my goals, so I'm pretty good. I already know what I want. Now how I'm going to get there, that's what I need to work on.
Gotcha. I see the biggest challenge working with real estate agents is that we come up with an amazing plan. Like, hey, here's how much money I want to make. Here's how many houses I got to sell. Here's how many appointments I need per month or per week. Great. And then all of a sudden, where's that business going to come from? I know where it's coming from. Database, social media. I'm going to do open houses. We really break that down and have specific plans around that. The breakdown is, and the reason why we don't hit our goals is from that point, it doesn't go on a 411 and it doesn't hit our schedule. And we have a bold law that says if it's not on your schedule, it doesn't exist. That's where the breakdown is. It's not actually on your schedule to get that work done. And since it's not on your schedule, we schedule the things that are important to us. And that's why in our values for Keller Williams, we say God, family, and business. Put those on your calendar in that order. At the beginning of the year in October, when we do business planning, we're going to say, hey, when are you planning on going on vacation? When are you planning on doing date nights with your spouse? When are you planning on taking the kids to summer camp? When are you planning on doing a church retreat that you're maybe on a mission trip? Let's add those things on your calendar first. They're blocked out. They don't exist. They're blackout dates for your business. If you ever hate when you go to Disneyland, there's a blackout date. You're like, oh, crap. What the heck? Right? Those are the blackout dates for you. Your family, your religion, those things that are important to you come first. Then your business comes on there next. And that's the biggest problem that we have is that we're not putting the things on our calendar and we're not following a schedule. Success is following that schedule. So I'm looking at my schedule. After this class, I'm out of here. Like I have it on my schedule that I'm leaving at 12:15, which is pretty awesome. I'm going to do an early weekend this weekend. Nothing is scheduled on my schedule. I actually have that on my schedule that I'm leaving, so which is pretty awesome. So I'm going to follow that. And then I'm back here Monday morning at 7, or actually Monday I'm taking off. Tuesday I'll be here at 7 o'clock in the morning. That's my schedule. I have specific tasks that I'm doing. I'm going to stick to that schedule. So the success for yesterday's class in Ignite was not only to understand your economic model, understanding your lead generation models, actually putting it on a calendar and then following it. And the best way to do that is to have somebody hold you accountable. Do you have, and I think yesterday you were supposed to pick an accountability partner for scripts and role play. Was there accountability partners scheduled yesterday? Does everybody have an accountability partner? AJ, I know you got one. Jasmine, I know you got one. Chris, I know you have one. Karina, do you have one?
No,
You do not.
no, I do not.
We need to find you an accountability partner.
All right.
George, do you have an accountability partner? Alex, do you have an accountability partner? Jocelyn, accountability partner. Yes. Who is it?
I actually have an accountability partner in another state.
Even better. Accountability is accountability. Is it as another real estate agent or a family member, a friend?
Yeah, she is actually a family member and we both kind of started around the same time. So I invited her to be my accountability partner so we can kind of keep each other on track.
And she's new as well?
Yeah.
How come she's not in Ignite? I don't see her in here.
Is this specifically for Keller Williams people?
Our training classes are open for everybody. We don't care who hops on.
I'll have to let her know.
It could be another company. We don't care. We're about providing value to all real estate agents. It's about the real estate industry. It's not about our company. So
Great.
think a little bit more about ourselves. So Tuesday, you have an accountability partner?
No.
You do not. Would you like one?
Yes.
Would you like Karina to be your accountability partner?
Of course.
It's like a match made in heaven. That's what I do all day. Awesome. If you guys wouldn't mind in the chat sharing your contact information, holding each other accountable could be as easy or as hard as you want it to be. You set the parameters around what you want in your business and what you want to be held accountable to. If it's, hey, I'm going to make 20 contacts a day, or hey, I'm going to wake up and work out for 15 minutes before I go to work. I'm going to do scripts and role plays with you every single day for 5 minutes, you know, at 7 o'clock in the morning or 8 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't really matter what it is. It's your business. You choose what you want those goals to look like, and then be serious about holding each other accountable. You know, be a little tough on each other. Like, hey, look, if I'm doing scripts and role play with you for 5 minutes on the phone at 7 to 7:10 or 7:05, I'm not going to ask you how your day is. I'm just going to call you and we're going to go straight into it.
Rob, I'm driving, so when I tried to put my phone number on the chat, it only led me to the Keller Williams co-host and host.
Gotcha.
So I'm sorry, I didn't hear who was gonna be my partner.
It's going to be Tuesday.
Tuesday? Okay. But how do I get her number?
I'll do it right now.
Okay.
I'll get your guys. I'm gonna send it to you. Hang on one sec. I'll text you both.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
I'll text you both. Take pictures of your numbers real quick. Right here. I'll give you a text after this call. Cool. All right. So your homework is A, create your value proposition. Start writing some things down. Start brainstorming and scripting around these words and what you think about yourself and the customer's needs, and be able to create some words around, some phrases around their objections or what they're looking for. Also, you should be making contacts every single day. You should be adding people into your command every single day, or into the database of your choice. Hopefully your choice is command. So adding those in every single day. Viewing homes either online or stopping by them in person if you can. I know COVID's kind of coming to an end here, or simmering, where we can go ahead and check out some people's houses. Know your products, go look at some homes, understand what's out there in the market, whether you're just looking them up online, check them out. 4th of July weekend is this weekend. It's going to be pretty awesome. A lot of people are going to be home. A lot of people are going to be having friends and family over. Make a lot of connections. Give yourself a goal for this weekend to have a really good time, to meet a lot of new people, but to get their contact information. And if they start talking about real estate, stop talking about real estate. Say, you know what? Let's just enjoy this beer. Let's enjoy the fireworks. Hey, if it's okay with you, I'd love to give you a call on Tuesday and talk about X, Y, and Z. What's the best number I can call you at? Get their contact information, set a couple appointments, build relationships with people, but relationships aren't as great if you don't have their contact information to follow up. So don't just say hi, don't give someone a high five, get their contact information and start having some conversations. And you'll definitely get some business out of that. 4th of July is a great weekend to ride your bike around, meet new neighbors, people you haven't met before. You know, I've seen you in the neighborhood. What's your name? Right? So meet a couple new friends. Don't be a secret agent. Let people know secret agents are in the FBI and the CIA. They're not in real estate. Everyone needs to know who you are, what you do, what you're about, what your value proposition is, what you bring to the table, and get their information. Let's start working with them. It's 12 o'clock. You guys heard me use 40,000 words in the last 2 hours. I need to rest those with a cold beer. And when I get home, not on the drive home. I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys next week. Have a safe and happy 4th of July. I appreciate you guys logging on a holiday weekend.
Thanks, Rob.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
Okay, everyone.
You too. Thanks.